All right, good morning. I just wanted to give you a more concise explanation of the PowerPoints for our finals and your expectations for these assignments for this week. So by watching this YouTube video, it will take the place of the class recorded video on Monday, so yesterday, and also on Wednesday, and hopefully will clarify any information that you have about what you need to do to wrap up this course. So there are several things that you need to do, just paperwork kind of things. First of all, I would greatly appreciate it if you would complete the course survey. Using this link on the PowerPoint, I will also include it in this email message. And also, please take some time to log your field experience hours in our database. This link will allow you to do that. And it's in the PowerPoint. And then you would just log in using your web advisor ID, and your password is your student ID. That allows us just to attach your field experience hours to you and keep track of all of your hours through all of your courses through DSU. And then for my purposes, if you could also take a picture, scan your signed timesheet from your teacher and put it in the Dropbox on D2L, I would greatly appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions about how to do that. But that's just kind of a paperwork thing that you need to do real quick just to help us out. So my main purpose for this video is just to explain to you how to, or what you need to accomplish between this week and May 6th. So the first thing that you need to do is your final essay assessment. This is 2 essay questions. It is on D2L. So if you go into our course page on D2L and assessments, you're going to see quizzes. This is the quiz that you will need to be taking. It is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on May 1st. That's this Friday. What it looks like is essentially 2 quiz questions. And we'll go over these questions again in just a minute via the PowerPoint, but essentially you are going to write to these questions. You can feel free to type it out in Word, process your writing through Grammarly to make sure that it is grammatically correct. And then just copy and paste it into here. I encourage you using your resources. This looks like it's supposed to be short. It's actually, I need to expand this box, but there is not a word limit. You can put as many words as you need to into these boxes. I am not concerned about that. So anyways, that is your quiz that is due Friday, May 1st. Like I said, it's 2 quiz questions. So just a reminder of what those 2 quiz questions are. The first one is centered on using the Common Core standards to drive your lesson planning. So you're going to choose one of the 2 lessons that you taught during your field experience, and you are going to write the following points. What standard did you teach? How did you break it down into student-friendly learning targets? So how did you break it down into an I can statement for your students? How did this unpacking process focus your lesson planning? And how did you teach the standard? And then I want you to note how your students did with the standard during your lesson, and then what you would change or keep the same based on student success with your teaching of the standard. So how I will score this question is, the key thing is that I'm looking for specific evidence. So when I say specific evidence, I want specific examples of what a student did or several students did to show that they were successful in the standard. So let's say you were assessing on a student's ability to infer the meaning of a challenging word in a book that they were reading. And you were expecting them to use context clues and their background knowledge to figure out a meaning of an unknown word. And as you were doing that in your lesson and you were circulating, several students' definitions were way off. Then that would be specific evidence that the students were not successful. Now, one thing to note, it's okay if your students, you didn't feel mastered the standard with that one lesson. That wouldn't be unheard of. And points won't be deducted if you say, oh, you know, I don't think that they mastered it. What I'm looking for is for you to recognize if they did or if they didn't, and if more instruction needs to take place. So, you know, just make sure you review this rubric as you're writing and double check that you feel like you've done all of the things that you need to get that 100%. So let me know if you have any questions on how that first essay will be scored for the quiz on May 1st. And then the second question is centered on those structures that are used in a reading classroom to effectively teach reading. So in class, we've talked about what a read aloud is and its purpose, and how it helps students learn to read, a shared reading, independent reading, word study, guided reading, and strategy group lessons. So your task is to choose 2 of these structures. Make sure you pick 2 that you have either observed or experienced in your field experience. And what I want you to do is describe this type of instruction in detail, including how to do it, why it's important, use the course text and resources to provide text evidence to support your thinking, and then connect that structure to what you saw or heard in your field experience. So you're essentially illustrating with what you saw or heard in your field experience as to why that structure is necessary and effective in a reading classroom. So remember, you're choosing 2, and you are including information for both in that one essay. So make sure that you know what they are. Go back and look in the course text. Cite what it said in the course text. Of course, don't plagiarize, paraphrase, and then note where you've gotten that information. So, and it doesn't have to be our course textbook. It can be websites. Here's an example of one website that we referred to at the very beginning of class. There have been several, and any of those are free game, but make sure you're noting where you got that information. So how this essay will be scored, I'm looking that you refer specifically to the course text and cite which text you're referring to. I'm looking that you're able to make a logical connection that illustrates, you know, why that type of instruction is effective and necessary in the reading classroom. So take a look at the rubric and make sure you understand how that's going to be scored as you're writing that. And then just make sure that you complete this between 8 in the morning to 8 at night on Friday, May 1st. So feel free to pre-write on Thursday and just copy and paste when the quiz opens on May 1st. And I, like I said, would highly recommend opening an account on Grammarly.com. It's like your word processing, grammar, and spell check times 50. So I really like this, and I think it will help you to make sure that your writing is clear and concise. So that is the first part of what we need to do for your final assessment for ELED 450. And like I said, it's due on May 1st. The second component is based off of your original self-assessment on our course objectives. So at the beginning of the semester, you took a look at all of our course objectives and you self-assessed your ability on all of those course objectives. You use the scale above. 1, I've never heard of this. 2, I've heard of it. 3, I could pass a test about this topic. 4, I know how to do this already and could teach about it. So you could lead a class about it. So you gave yourself, you know, self-assessment rankings and why at the start of class. So I want you to think about your growth in those areas, and I want you to write to it. So something that might help you, if you look at the description of what you're supposed to write, I want you to know how you've grown in your understanding of structures and strategies for effective reading instruction. So that would be objectives 1, 3, and 5 that you would be looking at. The Common Core State Standards, that would be objective 2 that you're looking at. Assessment and differentiation in reading, that would be objective 4 that you're looking at. And lesson planning and instruction in reading would be objective 6 and 7 that you're looking at. So what your job is to do is to say, you know, for example, assessment and differentiation in reading. I gave myself a 1. I understand what this means, but I don't understand how to do it. I didn't understand how to do it in reading at the start of class. Now I give myself a 3. There are some things that I definitely know about this. You might say, for example, we just recently talked about modifying instruction for English language learners, which would be a form of differentiation. So you would cite how you've grown there. This assignment is less formal than those 2 essay quizzes, but I just want you to think deeply about your growth. It's useful for you in the sense that um, it helps you to know how far you've come from January to now in terms of understanding how to teach reading, and there's still much more to learn. I can guarantee you that, but you've got a good start, hopefully, or you're feeling like you do. And so this is just a way for you to get that information and kind of just to reflect on it. It's also useful for me because it helps me to know which activities were the most effective for you or what stands out as being the most useful to you as you get ready to teach in your own classrooms. So this is a 1 to 2 page double-spaced paper that's approximate length. It's 15 points, and it should be turned into the Dropbox by May 6th. So you have a little bit more time on this one. I don't anticipate this taking a ton of time to write. I just wanted you to focus on the quiz that you need to do first before you do this assignment. So, you know, as you're thinking about this, please let me know if you have any questions about it. These are just kind of discussion points that we will have in class. Those 2 slides I just cruised through. And then the final thing would just to be make sure you have everything turned in. Do you have your field experience lessons turned in? Do you have your timesheets scanned and turned in? Have you entered your timesheets into the database as we described at the start of this video? Have you turned in your quiz on May 1st and your objective paper by May 6th? And then once you're done with that, it's summertime for you guys as far as this class goes. So please let me know if you have any questions. There will not be a video, in-class video recorded on Friday, just for your information. And there will be a class video recorded on Wednesday if you want to watch it, although I feel like if you've watched this has covered it for you. So let me know, like I said, via email, or feel free to give me a call or text. Let me know if you have any questions. I've thoroughly enjoyed learning with you this semester. I have loved reading your lessons and seeing how your field experience has gone for you and thinking about how best to teach students how to read in that K-8 setting. So thanks for all your hard work, and I'm sure I will see you in the semesters to come as you take ELED 454 and ELED 459. So you guys have a great day. Thanks.